The sun and the moon are returning to each other. This is the time of the month that we call the new moon. This time it's taking place in the sidereal Scorpio. Let's talk about it. Scorpio is the sign of the mystics. It shows hidden knowledge and all things also hidden. For example, hidden programs in the military. It can also indicate that maybe some of your work involves very hidden things where you have to sign a lot of paperwork and you can talk about it. Now, Scorpio, as you all know, also had this aspect of transformation, of death, rebirth, which takes place throughout our life. We have certain transformation. We're constantly transforming. Even as we go from baby, just physically, as we go from baby to older age, yeah? Now, one of the things about Scorpio is it's often depicted as like a still, murky lake where water is very dark, very heavy, and very still. And the one planet which doesn't do well in Scorpio is the moon. So there's a bit of a dosha, a little bit of difficult energy between Scorpio and the moon. And especially for us, for this new moon, it could show a time where there is difficulty with emotions. Scorpio has a way to want to process things. You know, usually if there's Scorpio rising or very strong Scorpio moon, want to process things, needs to talk about it, needs like a therapist, but needs a way, or journaling, but needs to process and talk through things deeply. But also there's a balance to that. At some point, after having done the work, talked about it, written about it, you also need to let go and move on with your life. So there's a balance in it, to not get lost into this processing, talking about it energy. There's a balance in moving forward as well and letting go. Because we talked about the water that's still, and the moon, like, you know, emotions flow, they come and go, and things come and go, and they pass, and so there's a little bit of this stuckness, this stillness that comes with Scorpio. And in other things, we did talk about transformation. And sometimes if there's difficult placements in Scorpio, it can show that there is a little bit too much transformation. It is good. Change is good. Change comes. We need change. But there's a balance of that. We also need to stick with things over time. We need to allow things to settle in our life, to commit to things, to grow with certain energy, certain paths. Yeah, always changing, and we never achieve anything. So in the same way that we talked about emotions and processing and talking, which is a very good side of Scorpio, to be able to process and talk, but you also need to move on and let go and release and move away from that place. We do this so we can move away from that place. In the same way we transform so that something new can come, and then that new thing we let grow. We don't constantly uproot. Now, another aspect, we talked about emotions, but if you think about it, the Scorpio also shows the house of the shaman, and the 8th house is the house of the shaman. And the shaman does what? Whatever poison we have kept inside of us, he takes it out in his own way. There's different traditions, I'm not going to go into it, but shaman does that. It takes away the places where we have this poison, this that has taken seats. So whether it's from trauma, things we've experienced, things that have broken our hearts, disappointments, whatever's happened to us throughout, you know, the bruises and the growing up and the difficulties and the changes and the loss and the incredible disappointments here and there that come up, the shaman helps heal those wounds by taking out the poison. But there is this aspect of poison that is linked with the Scorpio energy. Now, this new moon is taking place very close to a retrograde Mercury. There's also a strong Saturn, so it's a little bit of an interesting time. But either way, as we come towards the Amavasya, which is the lunar day, which takes place right before the new moon, which means this Wednesday, the 19th of November. Be a little patient on that day. If there is anyone, you know, people may feel a little extra emotional, a little extra sensitive. If you are spiritually sensitive, it's a really good time to meditate. Obviously, it's the middle of the week. If you're working, do your work, but then just take some time in the evening to focus on that, to sit with the energy, go inwards, be with the silence. It's the time of the month that's really inviting us to do that. All right, happy new moon, and I'll see you in the new cycle of the moon very soon. with some sweet announcements. Make sure you're signed up to the channel and the newsletter and all the other good things. Take care.